Enchantress is known for a strong early game, but it does not mean that you can't win in the late game. In this game indeed, Enchantress is very far behind. If you haven't seen the first part of this game, look at my previous video, which is linked in the top right of the screen. And as you see here, Enchantress once again dying without using a heal. So let's get right into this, and we'll start right now.
My holiness deepens.
Welcome to the Church of Obelisk. So as you can see, 4 are dead currently, and 13k net worth behind. We are in real deep trouble if we're on the side of our cute little Sproink. And they're actually not pushing out these waves as quickly as they could here. So only lose here 1 tower and even get some extra kills for it. However, the Slark unfortunately is getting multicasted and he's dead now. So Ogre Magi and TA wailing on that tower, and it's very hard to actually defend this tower here. They only have 3 heroes up. They do have Black Hole, but no Blink Dagger, so it's an easy retreat for the Dire. And now they're down this tower, which means they can lose their shrines, and overall it's a very grim situation. They're 16k behind, and especially grim is the fact that like this Invoker and this Slark are just so poor. Enchantress is doing quite well by position 4 standards. What they're doing right now here is pushing out this wave in low risk fashion, just with his Eidolons and the heroes sitting nearby. And then if a single hero comes here to contest this, they can maybe get a kill. But they don't, and that's a retreat. Enigma here wandering too close to the high ground, and he's gonna get dunked and he's dead. Immediate buyback here, they want to fight. Not sure if that's a great idea here. They do kill the Ogre and then hot pursuit, but that is an easy disengage. And now the Slark is quite far forward, trying to get this Earthshaker, and they do get him. And this is actually a really great fight for the Radiant. So it's important to realize, even if you're behind, that you can still fight sometimes. Just have to be more careful about where you choose your fights. For now, this Invoker is in a lot of trouble. And what is Enchantress doing in these fights? He's just staying on the outskirts here, and now she's getting engaged here, and she has to heal here. She has to heal and use Magic Wand, but she doesn't. There's a consistent theme here with Crit. He's not a very experienced Enchantress player. He ran with the hero, so I guess that's a good excuse, but it's just really important that you watch like a hawk when you have to use your Nature's Attendants. So if you use Nature's Attendants here, use this as a wand and change to Strength Threads, maybe he survives there. Of course, it went all very quickly, but you have to be quick with that. And if you don't think you can be quick enough, then you just need to cast this preemptively. I guess almost always in a team fight, it's almost always someone hurt. Either you're hurt or someone nearby you is hurt, so it's usually just, often it's better to just cast this preemptively, because it does have a cast time. But right now they're rushing. They think they can take this before the enemies show up. Let's see if they're right. And Ogre comes in here and multicast. That's a nice dunk here from the Earthshaker. And this fight is a disaster. Enchantress coming in here belatedly. She was dead, trying to do something, but really she can't. Also, she does force Ogre to use his cheese, which is something. But right now she's getting focused and she's dead. Invoker is still healthy and he's doing a little bit of a play here on this Earthshaker, and that is a nice kill. Now he just has to get out, which is not going to be easy because he has no... oh yeah, it does have Ghost Work again. Okay. Oh, he does get out. That's nice. And when you're behind, it's a good idea to go for these kinds of plays. Like, sure, if you die here, the game is probably over. He has no buyback, but you have to take some risk when you're behind like that. So I really like this move from Invoker. But Enchantress is still dead, and these Rexes are gone now. They go for the tier 4s, which is probably not the best idea here. But they go in there, diving behind the tier 4s, going for this Invoker. It's getting healed up a lot by this Wisp. This is a very tanky Invoker thanks to the Wisp, and this is a clear case of an overextension. Io being focused down here is trying to get the kill on that Venomancer. And TA is in trouble now. They're trying to get out here, but it's not gonna happen. And like, this was a horrible fight for the Dire. It's almost a 2k gold swing, it's a 5k experience swing, and they barely get out here with this Venomancer. And that's just a very important lesson to learn, is if you're taking Rexia and they're about to respawn, like, don't go for the tier 4s at 30 minutes. You're fighting in these tier 4s, double tier 4s. It's just much harder to take this than just taking on the Rax, which they maybe could have had, or at least like taking the tower or something. But as it is, they just got nothing. And right now there's 2 dead, so that's time to do a little bit of a turnaround here. That at least get the tower here. And Slark also diving in here, trying to get a kill. And this is a dead wench. They get the kill. Question is, can they get out? Doesn't hit with his Venomous Gale. And they get out. The tower, however, is still alive because of vector protection. They have to use Pipe Hit just to keep this wave alive against those traps. They do take the tower now. And there's 3 dead, so you can stick around here and maybe take this high ground tower. So with this Hurricane Pike now complete, you can move a lot more freely as Enchantress, just have more range, you can stay a little bit farther away, and this extra mobility is very important against these enemy heroes. And they go here for a kill on TA with Black Hole, and TA survives for now. Nice dunk here from Earthshaker, and this is not a good fight anymore. They do get the Earthshaker here, but can they get out? Invoker is very low, and like, this was not a very smart play. They were all alive again. The timing was over basically. They could put some tower on this dimension in this tower, which is nice, but that's all they realistically would get. And as it is, they're just losing these 2 most important core heroes, and this Enigma is also going down. So all cores will die, and that's just horrible for them. But as you can see, its net worth lead has shrunk to 8k, so even though this was not a good fight, because it's so far behind, they don't lose that much net worth. But now they have their 3 core heroes dead, and push is coming in. Invoker is now respawning, and again they're going for these tier 4s, thinking they can end, and they go for Invoker, but no detection here, and have to retreat. And as Andrew, just stay back here. You go and pick up stragglers. You just go for the targets you can. Your range, even with Hurricane Pike, is not that great, so it's not like you can just attack enemies in the backlines, because you want to stay in the backlines yourself. So you're basically always forced to hit just whoever you can. Right now the Radiants are smoked up. They're going and trying to contest the runes. And they do now have this Blink Dagger on Enigma, so they can initiate with Black Hole. Trying the bait with this Bounty Rune, but no one is taking the bait, so they just take the Bounty Rune and get out. You don't really want to go for a fight out here in the open. You want to either get some pick-offs, or you want to fight on your high ground. And don't be afraid to use your impetus to farm, as long as you have a decent amount of mana. But if you do, you should actually have these threads on Int at least. Blink's out here, nice reaction. The Blink is not a super common item in Enchantress, but it's actually quite strong for positioning. And positioning otherwise is quite hard to actually get the targets you need. Nice dunk from Earthshaker here. And this fight is so far not going too well. I mean, this Slug's all used BKB and has used his ultimate. And this Ant, you just want to stay back here and try to get the vulnerable targets. Important to note that Impetus no longer pays the spell immunity, so it doesn't work against BKB targets. It also just deals less damage, because previously it dealt I think 26% damage at max level. Now it's only 20%. So it's strong in the early game because you can max it out a lot earlier, but in the late game potentially suffers a little bit. Ent is now going for Aghanims, which gives her the Sproink ability. And what Sproink does is you hop back 450 units and you dodge incoming projectiles. It has a very short cooldown, so it's quite strong against this Ignite from Ogre, also dodges the missile from Venge, and just generally gives you more mobility. But I'm not sure if it's actually the strongest item here in this game. Maybe something like a BKB might be even better. And don't be afraid to just use creeps for farming here. This center does a lot of damage, thanks to this bonus damage that's granted for him by the enchant, as well as a little bit of bonus damage from this Temple Dominator. And you see this center does a lot of damage. You can definitely push out waves with a creep like that. And if you lose it, it's not that big of a deal. Big fight is going on here, and Enchantress is just trying to stay away here. Nice force staffing here, but Earthshake is also nearby. Did you not see her? I'm not sure. But yeah, you can definitely take over this Venge illusion. This is very strong, gives you this very strong aura. Unfortunately, Venge buyback, so the illusion dies as well. But yeah, that's a retreat here, but they're forced out of buyback from this Venge, so that's overall a 1 fight for the Radiant. They do, however, lose this shrine. The Dire into Roshan, but there's not really much you can do to stop this. He's going in with the center here, trying to do some stomping or something, but that was never going to work. Like, even if they do get that stomp off, it's only delays the inevitable. And now Eng is in deep trouble. And like, that's not really a play you want to make. There was no one else in the team nearby. Like, what was she trying to do here? Snipe Roshan or something for the gold? I don't know. That doesn't really make sense, that move. Another fight here on high ground. Eng just respawned. They can go and fight this Ogre Magi. With this BKB though, he can escape. And nothing really dying here, but TA is in trouble. She has Aegis still. Also has this cheese here in the inventory. So this is one tanky TA. But they do get the kill. It was a buyback though on Slack, so you have to be... they have to win this fight now. Or at least not lose it. Otherwise the game is probably going to end. This is a pretty tanky Slack. He's catching up back in terms of net worth, but he's still not in a good position, especially after that buyback. So they do repel this attack, but they lose a lot of gold in the process, and now it's a 19k lead for the Radiant. They did get the Aegis, which is something also I think got the cheese, unless they passed it off to someone. No, I think they used the cheese as well. So Aegis and she's gone, and paying 2000 gold net worth swing for that is probably worth it. But of course this buyback on Slack really hurts, because now if they lose Slack, the game ends. Enchantress pushing on the waves with the help of his creeps. His creep do a lot of damage. This is plus 70 damage on this range creep, and range creeps do piercing damage, so they do extra damage against quite a big snipe here. Range creeps do extra damage against other creeps. And just doing some SPROINKIng around. Not sure what the idea here is. Like, maybe she's trying to push this tower or something, but she gets caught here. And that is a very dead Enchantress. With Enchantress dead, they're pushing high ground here, and they're once again coming in here through the middle. This makes sense, that's where the wave is pushed. And they're setting them these wards, which are great for vision. But now they're going for this top tower, or not. Maybe they're diving tier 4 again. And this is maybe not the smartest idea here. With the Enchantress no buyback, you're fighting behind all these towers. That just makes it a lot harder to win any sort of fight. It would be a lot easier to just push this top lane or this bottom lane. But instead, they're all going to die. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is how you throw. Only TA survives. This is pretty disastrous, but if you look at the net worth, still a huge lead here for the Dire. But this was a huge swing, almost 5k swing here in terms of gold, and 13k in terms of XP. So right now they're slowly getting back into this game, and the Slack has now queued up a rapier, which makes a lot of sense. If you're behind like this, you need something big to come back. Buying a normal item probably isn't going to cut it, so you might as well take the risk and get a rapier. And what is Ench getting? She already has her Aghanim Scepter here so she can do all the SPROINKIng she wants. And I also love how how SPROINK is capitalized. So this is a 3-second cooldown. Quite a strong ability, but again, I'm not sure if it's really the best item here in this game. Maybe just something like a BKB, which is queuing up right now, or even just something like a Moonshot for extra damage. They're pushing high ground now. There's still 2 people dead, but not for long. They get the fortification, and now I believe it's time to get out again. But they want to stay a little bit longer here. Try to get this tower maybe. And this entry just stay back here, hit the tower maybe. This is a bit too far forward, and she realizes that and goes back. And now it's time to retreat. By the way, may I just say, Enchantress is the best voice lines in this game. She's just so cheerful, so happy. It's just a joy to play Enchantress and you know, voice lines, and just the way she delivers all these corny deer jokes is quite inspiring.
Don't think I wasn't fond of you. The buck stops here. That cost more than a few bucks.
Radiant is smoked up, and they're going to Roshan with this double damage Slag, as well as this Rapier, of course, that goes quite quickly. And quite obviously, if you have an Aegis, this Rapier is a lot safer. You can drop this Ninja Gear or his boots and get this Aegis. Also gonna get an Aghanims, because why not? You just might as well just go all in on this Slag if you're the one carrying the Rapier. In the meantime, the Dire still have a slight lead, but it's basically down to 0 now. But of course, if they get the Slag and get his Rapier, then everything has run again. But right now, the game is actually quite even. What does win probability say? Yeah, it's still slight advantage here for the Dire, but I would say it's really close to 50-50 at this point. Although, of course, I've seen this game, so I know who wins, but just looking at the game state, I'd say this is an even game. Enchantress now queuing up a Hyperstone, which makes a certain amount of sense to go for this over a BKB, because you already have this SPROINK, which allows you to dodge the missiles from Venge, so that means that the value of BKB goes down a little bit. And it's just really important to dish out DPS as Enchantress. That's your primary job in the late game. And attack is just the most efficient way of doing that. One important thing that the Radiant have going for them in this game is that they have a proper carry. They have the Slag, which is a proper strong late game carry. Whereas the enemy team, they kind of have this TA as the mid laner, but TA in the very late game isn't that strong anymore. And other than that, they have like this Venomancer and this Ogre's Cause, and they're just not the strongest late game heroes. Like sure, these Plague Wards with their 120 damage are great and all, but they don't do that much damage against heroes. They're more for pushing out waves and holding positions and so on, but Venomancer is not a proper carry, so the Slag is just difficult to control for them at this stage. Crit and the boys have to abandon this push here because the split pushing going on by Venomancer. Have to clean up this mess, and that's a problem on this Radiant team, that they don't have a lot of wave clear. Like Invoker has sort of wave clear, but it's fairly long cooldown stuff. Like if you use a Meteor, that's a very long cooldown, and Slag not that much wave clear either. The other one's not that great. I mean, they have these creeps to push out waves, these Eidolons and creeps from Enchantress, but that's not that quick. And also, by the way, Enchantress now sold the Helm of Dominating, which makes a lot of sense here. We're going to Earthshaker, Earthshaker's going to die, and they get a buyback from this very farmed TA. This is the most farmed hero in the game, and she's now also queuing up a Rapier, which makes sense. Because now, with all these deaths here, I would definitely say that the Radiant is now ahead, and this Venomancer is also going to die. So now it's actually a pretty big advantage here for the Radiant. Styr is dead, they have to use another buyback. Now it's a 5k lead for the Radiant. Buyback from Venomancer, they want to fight this, want to defend this tower. And the Center Conqueror is very hopeful here, but he's not going to get any good stomp off here. Just take the tower shot at least for a little bit, and Slag is going in there As Ench doing, she's just staying back here as she should and dishing out this damage. And Sprung, of course, can also be used to just do a little bit of extra damage on that last impetus. And so that's a 1 fight here for the Radiant, and managed to get out of here in good order. Next item for Enchantress is Hex here, which is great for disable. Also for mana regen, she currently has this Clumsy Net for mana regen. Needs some mana regen on this hero basically. And Clumsy Net is of course not that great for the active, because you don't want to root yourself, but it can give you a nice disable. And now they're going on this Rax. Slag is forced to use his ultimate here, still has BKB, so he can still hit this building. And they almost get this kill on this Earthshaker, but he is saved by that magic land. And right now, Enchantress maybe going a bit too deep here, but they do get this kill here. And of course, with all this heal coming out from Enchantress and IO, it's very hard for the enemy to actually kill anything. And now this double Rapier Slag. I think he took the Rapier from TA, not sure about that though. And yeah, this game is now over. So basically, lesson from this game is, if you're far ahead, don't just mindlessly push the tier 4s. Take the other lanes first if you have to, and don't throw away your lead like that. From the Enchantress point of view, an important lesson here is this is a very strong ability in the early game. You can do a lot, can create a lot of space with that in the early game, and in the late game it's important in those fights to use your freaking heal. There's so many fights in this game where Crit died without using his heal.
Come get healed!
Let me know in the comment section if you want to see more Enchantress play here on this channel, or if there are any other heroes you want to see in particular. And in the meantime, I will leave you with this video, and Obelisk willing, I'll see you there.